Watches are not an investment. I'm saying it now and I'll say it again. No watch, regardless of the brand or model, is an investment. Even though many people say that Rolex, Royal Oaks, Nautiluses are investments, it's a really difficult market, and I will explain why. First of all, the first thing that I want to do is to define the word investment. If you look it in the dictionary, the first definition says that an investment is an action or process of investing money to have a gain or material result. And here we go back to the classic. Surely you've heard or know someone that says that their watch collection is an investment. And to start, I'll tell you it's not an investment because you haven't sold them. An investment becomes an investment until you sell the asset and you have that profit. Now let's go back a bit. I think the watch market has that bad reputation that says the watches you buy have to make you money or at least preserve their value. I'm going to ask you, what happens when you buy a car? You go to the dealership, you buy it, you take it out, and now it's immediately worth 40% less than the purchase price. Now the same happens with a belt, with a jacket, with a pair of shoes. In general, luxury items. But why was that taboo created that watches must always be an investment? I think the hype of Rolex, AP and Patek infected the whole watch market. And now any watch you buy has to be an investment. But it's not like that. In fact, people who really have money can afford to lose it. They can afford to lose money on the things they buy, whether it's cars, watches, or anything else. They don't really have to worry if the watch will gain value or not. In fact, that's why it's called a luxury. They can have the luxury of losing money. Now, second, I'm going to explain with numbers why no watch is a monetary investment. Generally, and I'm talking about 99% of cases, in order for you to get one of the most sought after watches, be it AP's, Rolex or Patek's, you have to have a relationship with your favorite jewelry store, the one you want. Obviously, as you buy pieces, they will see what kind of client you are. If you buy frequently, if you're a good customer that spends big bucks on them, they will generally offer you more and better pieces. But let's say you have a relationship with your AD. One day you arrive and say, hey, I want a Daytona. Okay, perfect. For you to be able to be put on the waiting list, I need you to spend $100,000 on other brands between jewelry and watches. Right now, the wait list is of around 5 to 6 years. But if you spend this $100,000, I'll give you your Daytona in 3 months. Okay, so now let's say you buy a Hublot, you buy a Panerai, you buy an IWC and an Omega. Obviously you get them with a big discount, but you also had to buy $50,000 of jewelry between earrings, necklaces and items that you're going to end up giving away to your mom, your wife, or anyway. So now you've bought all of these watches and jewelry. And finally, after 2 months, you have your Rolex Daytona. But now you have a bunch of watches that you don't want and $50,000 worth of jewelry that you didn't want either. Now let's say that you give the jewelry to your wife, mom, daughter, whatever. And then you decide to sell the watches to recover some of your investment. But surprise, the watches were not given to you at a sufficient discount for you to be able to recover 100% of the money you invested. So let's say, for example, that out of the $50,000 you spent on watches that you didn't want, you recovered around maybe $35,000-$40,000. Okay, so you got back part of your money. And then you get the call about the Daytona or any watch you want. You go, you pay, and now you say, wow, now I have my investment. Now the Daytona retail costs around $16,000 and you can immediately flip it for $29,000. It is a profit of $13,000 on just one watch. Sure, if you see it that way, it is a great investment because it's an investment that gave you almost 100% profit. But What about the 10,000 or 15,000 that you lost on everything else, without taking into account the $50,000 of jewelry that you gave away or you sold, but let's be honest, you lost money on that? Then, if everything went good, you broke even. It wasn't an investment anymore. I'll give you an even worse one. If you were one of those who bought watches during the pandemic when the bubble was at its peak price, let's say you bought a Patek Philippe Nautilus for $300,000. Or not even 300,000. That was like the peak value. Maybe it was $200,000 and you wanted it for it to get to 300,000. And you waited because you thought it was going to be the best investment of your life. You were gonna do $100,000 on a single watch. But wow, guess what? The bubble popped. And now that watch is around $90,000. So you just lost $110. Imagine that. Obviously, there are instances where this business model works. In fact, there are people who actually do it. But I think it works up until a certain extent. You need to invest a lot of money and you need to keep buying a lot of watches for you to be able to get the high-end hyped pieces. You have to have an incredible relationship with your jeweler, with your AD, and you have to spend millions and millions of dollars for it to be worth it. Now, when is a watch actually an investment? Now let's look at the next definition of investment. The second definition says that it is an act of investing time, effort, or energy into a particular activity in the hope of a worthwhile result. For example, going to the gym, exercising. You're investing your time in going to the gym to be healthier and to look better. Now there are two types of investments, monetary and the one that gives you experience. For example, many people say that traveling is an investment on its own because you gain experiences. You get to enjoy something, and it's something that you won't be able to experience every day. And I think that if you see your investment in your watches that way, you will be able to enjoy them more. Because for starters, if you see it as a monetary value, you're minimizing a work of art to a simple number. How much did it cost you? How much money are you going to make from it? And in general, you stop enjoying the watch for what it is and you just keep thinking, what is it worth? How much money will I do? And I repeat it, it's not an investment until you sell it. And honestly, to be completely honest, no one cares about how much it cost you or how much money you will make from it. But if you invest in a watch that is meaningful, for example, when your child was born, when you got married, if you give a watch to your wife when she became a mother, those are the kinds of investments that are worth doing. So if you want my true advice, don't worry about how much a watch costs. Don't worry about how much it will devalue if you sell it. Don't worry if it will maintain its value or increase or not. Enjoy your watch for its craftsmanship, for its level of finishings, for its sentimental value. Enjoy it because you like it. Don't buy a watch because someone says it's a good investment or because it's the popular watch of the moment that everybody wants. It's useless to buy a watch that you don't like and you don't wear. Buy a watch that actually means something to you. And if it doesn't mean anything, it doesn't matter. It's better if you give it a meaning and you buy it for yourself.